start off our first panel discussion with the theme Sustainability of Renewable Energy, a future for next generation, an overview of India leading towards its global commitment.
Now, I would like to call upon the stage our panelist for the day, Professor Dr. Satyabhusan Das. Director of CMEE IIM Lucknow, he has been awarded the Canadian Studies Doctoral Research Fellowship for Doctoral Research and has worked as a visiting doctoral research fellow at IISD School of Business, University of Manitoba, Canada.
Thank you, sir. Our next panelist on stage is Professor Dr. Sukumar Mishra, Dean of Research and Development of IIT-Delhi. He is the recipient of the INSA Medal for Young Scientist and has also been awarded INAE awards such as Young Engineer Award and Silver Jubilee Young Engineer Award. Professor Mishra is also a Fellow of IIT UK, IIT India and IE India.
Our next panelist is Dr. Karunamurthy, MD, Managing Director of WindPlus Private Limited. Professor Karunamurthy has done his PhD in wind energy from an acclaimed international university and has also worked with major players of wind energy like OEM, original equipment manufacturer, developer, and IPP, independent power producers.
Our next panelist on stage is Gautam Das, founder and CEO of Urja Clean Tech. Das is also an alumni of IIT Mumbai and a former senior executive in Citibank. His fascination took him towards the entrepreneurship for renewable energy in the times when environmental issues, climate change, and natural calamities are becoming a new normal.
This session will be moderated by Dr. Srikant Panigrahi, Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development. He is a well-known Indian policymaker and technocrat who has also worked with Government of India, United Nations Environment Programme and the World Bank. Over to you, sir.
So good afternoon, all of my friends and colleagues. Happy World Environment Day 22. This World Environment Day is very special because the entire planet is celebrating Stockholm plus 50. In 1972, the humanity first smelled danger to environment. When the entire humanity across the globe, many countries and country leaders and leadership realized that there is crisis to water resources, crisis to forest resources, crisis to human health. There is increase in pollution and environment needs protection and special attention. And natural resources use should be sustainably used. And so global leaders throughout the world expressed their concern. So first, United Nations organized a global conference at the Stockholm, which is the capital of Sweden. And whole world, all the leadership were invited, but two prime ministers participated there. One from India, that is Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Indian Prime Minister, and Norwegian Prime Minister Graham Brundtland. She was a doctor, medical doctor, and Indira Gandhi, you know. So all other representatives from more than 176 countries, political leadership were there, but they were not at the top level or prime minister level. So the concern for environmental threats were discussed first time in the world, and it was organized by UN, United Nations, and it happened on 2nd and 3rd of June. And subsequently, in this Global Human Conference at Stockholm, it was decided that United Nations needs a special body for peace, environmental peace, peace to ecology, peace to health of the planet, for which United Nations Environment Program took birth on 5th June 1972. Now we are celebrating 50 years of United Nations Environment Program, and Stockholm plus 50 throughout the globe. And Indian team also are there at the Sweden. On online, there was a webinar on 2nd and 3rd of June on this theme. So climate change to other kind of threats India is confronting, including biological diversity conservation, desertification challenges, and the problems and challenges at one side and the solution on the other. So the both was discussed, and it is in the process. The celebration is continuing. It will come to end today. So this particular session theme is the catastrophe of climate change, how it can be managed. The best possible solution starts with renewable energy. So India, you have heard from the minister and Sudhir that India wants to become carbon neutral by 2070. So 2070 is a very broad and far off target India has forecasted, keeping enough safety measures. But the way we are proceeding, and we have aggressive policies in place, my personal poll says we will be able to become carbon neutral or net zero much before. But better to take factor of safety, keeping up that we have announced 2070.
I'll take a minute to introduce myself. So my name is Gautam. I grew up in a remote tribal village in Bengal and started my education in a panchayat school and grew up in a tribal neighborhood. Parents worked hard. I finally got the opportunity to study at IIT Bombay. Then worked in India and outside for a while. Then left for my MBA. Worked with an American bank for 16 years as a director with Citibank India. Then you realize that we want to do something which is basic, fundamental, and related to environment and agriculture. So me, along with my few IIT Bombay batchmates and a few city bankers, we started a company called Oorjan Clean Tech. We work on ESG sustainability across about 16 odd states. And great to see that many of the organizers are fitness enthusiasts. I run up to 100 kilometers. I am a comrade runner, 90 kilometer uphill runner in South Africa. I'm a open sea swimmer, and I stay in jungle sometimes for 4-5 days without water or anything like what you see in Bear Grill or something. So that will be too much of elaboration. So it's everything what I'm trying to do is about the sustainability. It's about sustainable health. And one of the things which is going to come, I'm sorry, I'll take 30 more seconds. It's sustainable capitalism. Today we are stealing our kids' future. And today we are living by borrowing from somebody else. And this can be solved by two things. To solve anything, it takes two things: intent and ability. And I'll talk more about why it's a commercially viable option. Not doing solar is a crime. Today, many households in India have a smartphone which is equivalent to 1 kilowatt. You depreciate the product. Sorry, few things we'll hear from like an ex-banker talking. It depreciates in 3 years. But you take 1 kilowatt, it produces 14 to 1500 units every year, and that into almost like say 30-40,000 units it produces. And it is equivalent to plantation of 49 trees and mitigation of 31 tons of carbon dioxide. So we'll talk more about that whenever.
I being the moderator, I need to introduce myself also. I have continuously contributing in the space of policy and research. Right now I'm holding a position of Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development in New Delhi, and I will go into question and answer and a panel discussion format. To start with, I will ask Sri Karunamurthy ji, who is an industrialist and leading a renewable energy group. So my question to you, sir, just introduce you in very brief and tell about your extraordinary dynamism and contribution so far as Wind Plus is concerned.
I am Dr. Karunamurthy, Managing Director, Wind Plus Private Limited, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. So under Wind Plus, we develop, we construct, and we commission the projects, wind power projects. This company was established only last year. Okay, and I myself personally having 27 years of experience in this domain. 1995 I started my career in wind industry, and till today I'm in the wind industry. So after 26 years of experience, I have started this Wind Plus. Under Wind Plus, we do project development, project construction, and asset management. See, there were, earlier there were only, the 2 or 3 developers, known developers or renowned developers. Only they were getting these development opportunities. But now the totally, in India, it is a, it's a competitive bidding regime now, right? Competitive bidding regime. So everyone want to reduce the price in every contract. The bid winner is looking for.
So now I will come to our other colleague in the online, Sri Ashish Kumar. So I would please introduce yourself and tell us about your contribution in the field of climate change mitigation and particularly in renewable energy.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Ashish Kumar, as you all know. I've been working in this renewable segment from almost like 6-7 years now. Currently, I work with Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, a Tata Group company, and I'm put up at Stockholm, Sweden. I've been working with some renowned names in renewable segment before I joined TCS. I was working with Sukam Solar, and before that, I was working with Jackson Solar. So with them, I was integral part of into procurement and EPC works. So we got opportunities to work on megawatt projects. Apart from that, that is an industrial role which I hold. But what is Ashish Kumar doing by his own is my impact. So as on me, I am more of a teacher. I go and teach to the grassroots level as a part of ATL, Atal Tinkering Labs, an initiative by Niti Aayog. And I go to schools and colleges across India. So far, I have been to more than 100 colleges across India, to teaching more than 10,000 youths to understand on what is green startup, how can they impact themselves, and how can they do for opportunities into sustainability. To me, sustainability is a more of a societal goal rather than a governmental goal. What the government, I think one of the ministers earlier was speaking, that government has done this and done that. We as an individual has our own part to play, because if you see the 3 segments, that stands as the environment, economy, and the social dimension. So right now, what we follow is more of a linear economy, where we just go and grasp things and follow on, but we have to somewhere look for a circular economy.
Exactly.
So what I do.
Exactly. So kindly tell us at TCS Sweden, and particularly at Sweden, which kind of you are speaking from TCS Sweden, is it?
So I work here on a project appointment by TCS. However, I'll tell you what is different between Indian environment and in terms of Stockholm, other than the geographic location they are put up. Sweden is placed somewhat very close to the northern pole, and that's why you have coldest. There's nothing called summer or spring, although they name May, June, July, August as a summer. But if you can see, I'm wearing a freeze, and the temperature here is almost like 10 degrees Celsius. So if you see, apart from the geographic location, I see the people here are more aware of things and are more conscious about the principles of reduce, reuse, and recycle. In anything and everything we think here, they rethink here. So that is one of the best thing what we can look for from these countries. And that is one of the reasons they are somewhere heading towards carbon neutral countries. And I'm surprised, we celebrate World Environment Day as one of the days here. But since we breathe every day, we eat every day. So we should not worry about environment just on one day on the 5th of June, because it is celebrated as Environmental Day. We should think it every day, like I think most of the the carbon neutral countries does. In anything, everything they do, they have a factor of environment and they try how they can convert, avoid, minimize, and generate. So that is the principle they follow.
My next question goes to Professor Satyabhusan Das. As you are aware, he is a professor of management and particularly in the field of marketing. So my question to him is the kind of the leadership he is taking through academic and research persuasions in the field of center staging renewable energy and the marketing of related to in the field of innovation and renewable energy. I would like to know his viewpoints.
Thank you, Dr. Panigrahi. Actually, as a professor of marketing, we are very much concerned. There are 2-3 things. One is that also in IIM Lucknow, we have set up a Center for Marketing in Emerging Economics, where we do continuously study that why these sustainable products, people are not receiving the way on sustainable products. Although there are a lot of companies are very much conscious, but if you look at the most critical point is that product. If you look at innovation opportunities, there are a lot of innovation opportunities in terms of sustainability. One aspect I can tell, for example, energy elimination, energy redirection and reduction, and quantity and quality gap. So for example, we are earlier days going for transportation, mass vehicles. Now we are going for private. So this is basically we are not energy more consumed, and how we can do transportation, we have to do the innovation. How the public transportation will be good so that people can use, so that we can do energy redirection. Second is that elimination. For example, if you look at inverters, a lot of inverters people are using because there is not electricity supply is not there. Inverter, there are so many stabilizers and everything. So we can reduce that thing if we do have a substitutes like uninterrupted power supply. Third one, I am talking about quality. The water quality is very bad, so that people are using water filters. Another issue is that consumer aspect. Several companies, one of the study we have done recently, that how the green aspects actually create brand equity. Even if several companies are doing green marketing, they are doing green hotels and everything, but they are not confident that because of this green, whether customers are really coming to the hotel. For example, we have done green hotels, and what we have found, we have given empirical evidence because of the green service encounter, whatever design, aesthetics and ambience in a green hotel, people are very much, the trust is there because of the green, and there is a brand equity. And because of that, people wants to come again and again to the hotel. So a lot of studies, research, evidence will give the confidence to the companies. They will promote actually whatever the green aspect they are doing. There are other two aspects, want versus do. People are interested for adoption of green products, but really they are not doing. And another thing is that although people are, there is a communication also. For example, water bottles, people are using plastic bottles. So there is the environment issues, global warming and all these things happening. Another is my environment. Like skincare products, there is a skepticism. People are thinking that these sustainable products like this, which is from lemon and everything, that will really do this kind of, whatever the way they are using, whether it is a sustainability or performance. That is another issue. Most of the sustainable products fail in the market because people have a skepticism that really do not perform like unsustainable products, chemical products. So that kind of consciousness, the point of differentiation should be communicated very clearly. Marketing is the whole game of positioning. If the positioning sustainable products is not done properly, substitute product innovation is not done properly, so then it will be just a slogan, and people's adoption and diffusion of sustainable products will not be the way that should be. So we are looking at different research projects. Recently we are doing another study, EPR, this extended producer responsibility. What are the issues, what are the challenges different recyclers and brand owners they are facing for implementation. Government does a lot of policies, but the policies, the stakeholders, one consumer is one stakeholders, there are several other stakeholders. What are the issues they are facing to implement that thing? So these are some important issues also from the marketing perspective. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Das. Now I'll go to Professor Sukumar Mishra, who is the authority himself, and he is from IIT-Delhi, Department of Electrical Engineering. Professor Mishra, I would like to know your research initiatives and particularly various initiatives in the field of sustainability with respect to electric vehicles and other relevant areas of renewable energy you are working right now.
Thank you for giving this opportunity. In fact, let me start from electric vehicle, as he has pointed out. Electric vehicle penetration into the market or into the society is in fact undergoing a chicken egg problem. Electric vehicle need to be charged. Charging infrastructure is to be there. Who will put this charging infrastructure and who will go for the electric vehicle? This might need to be addressed properly. Now what is happening, in fact, because these electric vehicles, as a layman perspective if I put, it is equivalent to one Indian house. One electric vehicle electrically equivalent to one Indian house. So if you have, suppose in a locality 100 houses or 200 houses, and each comes with one EV, I am in fact referring to a car, then it is indirectly increasing the load by 2 times. Now, to handle this, we do not have the infrastructure. To take care of this, as on today what we are doing, we are telling you build the infrastructure by yourself. So it is not coming as a commercial viable thing. So our research, in fact, handles this in a way that during peak hour, let us go for some throttle controlled in the charger, which will be giving as a signal from the grid or the transformer which is in stress, so that same infrastructure can handle the electric vehicle penetration at this stage. When we go higher and higher, we can always build the infrastructure because you have the time frame with you. This is one of the proposition. Second proposition is, we can always go for a microgrid philosophy for the electric vehicle charging infrastructure to come up. Each charging place should be converted to a photovoltaic based charging station which can augment. If I totally tell that it should be photovoltaic based charging infrastructure, people will not take it. However, if I tell that based on your financial capability, you go on adding this modular charger each time, then it will be a more sustainable solution and the charger will now be green. And the biggest challenge in the research is the solar is uncertain and intermittent. Electric vehicle is uncertain and intermittent. There is no coherency between them. As a result, the overall system becomes more chaotic. Hence, we need storage to handle it. Storage, in fact, is a price sensitive scenario. The amount of investment we need in storage is enormous today. Therefore, a grid connectivity in the first go, followed by storage, will be a much better option. And in that, the grid connected inverters will play a very vital role. However, our policymaker should take care of this philosophy and put the grid connected inverter standard in such a manner that we should not be a dumpyard of the world. We should not take the second-hand, third-hand technology things to our grid connected mode. I can give you a very simple example here. Many of our solar pumps in reality is not working. We have installed but not working. One of the primary reason of this is the pump motors, those are being used. Reason being, suppose it is just like a Maruti car vis-a-vis a Honda City. A Honda City is very good maybe for Delhi environment. You can repair it anywhere as and when you require. But that may not be true in a rural scenario or suburban scenario. Same thing happens. If you have, in the sake of efficiency, you go to very high-end technology, but there is no one to repair in the ground. As a result, there is no parenting effect of that pump, and hence it dies of its own natural death. So therefore, the research what we focus here is also in this context that can we do something where our normal pumps which are being used in the day-to-day environment and day-to-day people have the capability to use, repair and go ahead can be driven by solar system. And if we can do that, then probably it will have more societal effect, even if we lose certain efficiency in the process. Thank you.
Professor Mishra, suppose Indian Rail, it has a kind of electrification. And
Indian Railway.
Indian Railways. So if they are electrified completely, so that will be win-win case because they don't require storage.
Yeah, there is some challenge in that. If you go for the static Indian railway infrastructures, like platforms or like their own lands which are not moving, static and moving, then static there is no challenge. But when you put into a moving object, these solar panels, there are challenge of mechanical issue, not the electrical issue. So that need to be handled because of two reasons. One is the mechanical vibration and those. Second is when it moves, it may interact with many places shadow, and that creates this spike in the electricity, which will be a challenge again to the grid.
Thank you very much. I will request Gautam ji to have a short intervention as early as possible.
Sure. I'll just give the business perspective of renewable energy. See, renewable energy is environmentally sensible. It has to be just commercially viable, right? And I can tell you, not doing solar or not doing renewable energy is a crime. India's GDP is about 7-8%. If you invest 4 crore, I'll give an example in solar. If you are paying 10 rupees per unit, every year you can save 1.5 crore because it produces 15 lakh units into 10 rupees is 1.5 crore. Your asset breaks even, your money comes back within 3 years, and this saving continues for 25 years. So why it's not happening? One is awareness is growing but still yet to grow. So we formed a platform called Green Institute. If you type on Google Green Institute by Oorjan, you can learn solar, you can certify, you can go backward, onward, training, how to connect, how to disconnect, how to safety. It's called Green Institute by Oorjan. So just to reach out to people and educate digitally. Because keeping IT and good quality people to go door to door, it's not possible. That's one. Second is, as Professor said, the technology reliability is evolving and people like him, the respected people and research scientists, they are working on that. It's evolving very fast. The third most important thing is that how the money comes from, because you as a household, you're ready to pay 5,000 rupees electricity bill or 10,000 rupees electricity bill per month, but you're not fine to invest 3 lakh rupees upfront. So what we are trying to do, we are ex-bankers and engineers, we will give you option to pay in 12 EMIs. You will pay you option to up to 72 EMIs. Your saving is more than sufficient to repay it. So we are doing clean tech plus fintech. You pay certain amount, remaining amount you can pay as an EMI. And if you look at source of capital is never an issue, right? A Canadian pension fund, they're happy to get about 5%, and renewable energy for end consumer gives annuity return of 30%. So there is a huge gap. We need to collaborate with DISCOM, we need to collaborate with the policymakers, we need to collaborate with the implementation guys and consumers. And this 30% IRR product can be distributed among multiple ecosystem partners. That will solve, right? As far as technology is evolving, it's evolving very, very fast. How can you do a DC and AC combination charging for EV? How can we, as Professor said, that how can we get it from DC to DC directly? How can you ensure that the mechanical stability is already there, electrical stability is there, duration of the solar panel is not impacted because of multiple shadow items? These all are evolving very, very fast. As a company, what we are doing, we want to take solar or renewable energy to masses. So financing is a by default product, okay? You pay in multiple EMIs so that you can adopt and it become hassle-free. And all our systems are IoT connected. Whether you are cleaning, not cleaning, without your knowledge, you can remotely track even a single string. So whether it's not working because of the technology reliability or it is poorly installed, we have our IoT platform. We track every panel, what you are doing and how they are performing.
Thank you, Gautam ji, for bringing finance and banking interventions.